think something bad is coming. I'm going to show you at the end of the video what I think it is. But first, I want to talk about the housing and I want to talk about whiskey. Let's kick it off with whiskey for all the elbows down people. How Kentucky bourbon went from boom to bust. I'm a whiskey lover. Does it sadden me to see what's happening with bourbon? Right now, no. I'm quite enjoying it. What's going on? Well, it goes back before the trade war. There was a bit of a bubble in whiskey. Everyone was going crazy over the bourbon market, treating it like a commodity, like a stock. That's true. People were buying and selling bottles of bourbon, rare bourbon, so on and so forth, and just flipping them over and over again. People would go in as a prospector to flip bottles for 2 to 3 times the value. What happened? Well, first the pandemic happened. Pandemic lockdowns tanked bar sales, and inflation has made many would-be bourbon drinkers choose less expensive options. Also, drinking a lot gives you a headache. It's bad for your brain cells. And many people will just throw back whiskey, especially expensive whiskey. They don't savor it. Then there's people looking to get high, and rather than drinking, they're turning to other recreational substances that have recently been made legal. So there was a general slowdown in the demand for whiskey. And then the tariffs came. Meanwhile, most provinces in Canada have stopped importing American alcohol beverages in retaliation. The country accounts for about 10% of Kentucky's $9 billion whiskey bourbon business. The problem, of course, is that we didn't just slap a tariff on the whiskey. We removed it from store shelves. I, for one, won't touch it anymore. F them. Now the big players are noting that their sales are down significantly, and the small players are just closing their doors. Canada is one of the most significant trading partners the United States has across the board. I don't know how anyone thought that a trade war would be a good idea. All right, on to housing now. Ontario records low housing starts, even using new ways of counting them. Yeah, even if you throw in student housing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, yeah, we're still not starting enough housing. But we're in the midst of this. Now, I keep saying there's a problem with the cost. The base cost is still more than people can afford. How much does it cost to build a condominium? This breaks down the costs of materials, labor, and land. So the things that you can't really avoid. Also a little bit of advertising. So there you go. It breaks it down. There's land cost per square foot. Hard cost, that's the materials, the labor, so on and so forth. And soft cost, which is like advertising. Total, $680 to $780 a square foot. Simple math. If you want something modest, like 1,000 square feet, like enough to put in more than one bedroom, you're looking at $680,000 to $780,000 in cost. Yeah, you can save $150,000 in advertising. Or you can just make them smaller. One of those 400 square foot shoe boxes that everyone's complaining about would still cost you $272,000. Pure cost. Get rid of the advertising cost, you're still at $212,000. I've been saying this for a while now. Housing is expensive to produce. So even at a pure cost level, it's too expensive for most people. And if the housing is too expensive for most people at a pure cost level, then the problem is not the cost of the housing. All right, now this. Trump vows to evict homeless from Washington. He's called in the National Guard. Apparently the FBI is going to be patrolling now. They're going to lock down the nation's capital. Should we even debate the idea of evicting the homeless? Like these people are choosing to be homeless. Like maybe find out why they're homeless and see if you can solve that problem? This promises to be a shit show. This bringing the military into the nation's capital to get rid of the homeless and quote unquote crime. Sure.